Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Katie and we are unboxing and creating with December UpCrate. Of course, it goes without saying, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, and of course if you've enjoyed this video, why not give me a like? But I digress, let's get in there, shall we? Of course, we have another beautiful print sent to us, and this month's featured artist is Sweeney Boo. And also they have designed the stickers, which I quite like for this month too. And I so did not mean that to rhyme, honestly. Anyway, let's talk about the goodies, shall we? So it is an alcohol marker kind of box this month. And I'll be honest with you, first impressions, it's not too dissimilar to one we've already had this year from UpCrate, where we had the Tombow dual tip brush markers as well as the manga paper there. I know we had a few other bits in there, but they're a little bit similar for my liking, so soon anyway. We of course also have the UpCrate Post magazine, and I'm quickly skimming through there because they're just very thick, and if you want to read the pages, just slow the video down. But what we're really here for are the supplies. So to begin with, we have a pad of Talon's Bristol paper and a limited edition size one as well, just exclusively for UpCrate. It is A5, it is 246 GSM, that's a very odd number, well it's an even number, but you know what I mean, it's usually 250 or rounded up. We have a hardmouth Koh-i-Noor pencil in H, as well as a Pigma Micron in 005. We've seen them before, we know how they work. We also have another Sakura pen, and that's the Pigma Bb, and it's got quite a flexible, I want to say it's like a brush nib, but it's not fibrous, it feels a bit rubbery. That's the only way I can describe it, and that is in black. We also have Winsor & Newton Pro markers, and we have them in Red Berry, Future Pink, Cool Grey. We also have the Pro Marker brushes, and they are in Cool Grey, Cyan and Cinnamon. And to top it all off, we have another Sakura pen, and that is the Pen Touch in 1mm, and that is in a fluorescent orange colour. So all in all, we have a very, very bizarre mix of colours. This month's UpCrate Battles theme is Love Has No Colour, and I had a bit of an idea for this straight away, so I just dived in. I thought I would illustrate a character, and you know how you can make a heart shape with your hands? You know the one, we've all done it. I thought our character could have that in front of their face, and all around would be colour, but the part within the heart shape that's been created with the hands, that would be grey. I just thought that would be the only thing I could do upon opening this box for now. So I initially just penciled it all out, and it was time to start inking around the edges and the outlines. And I mean, I like these pens. They're up there with the Faber-Castell Pits as well as the Unipin liners. They all pretty much do the same job. I just wish though, especially when we have such bold and vibrant colours, I wish that they wouldn't put in the thinnest nib ever, because I feel like a lot of the details get lost, especially when you've got a really dark colour next to where you've outlined. Sometimes I just feel like it wasn't worth outlining it, and I know we have that thick BB brush pen as well, but we're talking the other end of the scale there. Like, I don't know, maybe a 0.3 or a 0.2 or a 0.4, just something around that region, but not the thinnest one possible. It's just more work. And in my opinion, it just doesn't create a nice balance, but that's just my opinion. So my idea for where I'm adding the black ink now using the BP pen was to have a sort of jaggedy outline around our character, but I do go on to fill that in. And speaking of filling areas in, it is time to add the pink. Personally, I actually quite like the Winsor & Newton Pro markers. I think they're always a good alternative to Copics, and I can usually get my hands on them pretty easily at my local art store. I'm also not adverse to a chisel tip either. kind of prefer them sometimes. I feel like I can cover a larger area rather than perhaps with a brush nib. And obviously both pens do allow to have the details in there. I mean, with the chisel tip only ones, you have the little bullet nib, and that's very nice for thinner lines, but obviously not as thin as the line pen that we've got, so I think it still looks odd. And obviously with brush pens, you can change the thickness of your line by changing the amount of pressure applied. So, you know, I think they're pretty good. I always think as well they're pretty good value too. The paper we had in the box, again, it's Bristol paper. I think it's perfectly fine for using markers out. Must make you aware though, it leaks and you will get bleed through, so don't keep your pad together while you're drawing it. Take a sheet out and work on that when it comes to using your alcohol markers. Otherwise, you'll have used 2 sheets up without realising it. We've all been there, and hopefully I won't go there again. After I'd added that first layer of pink, it was time to go over it with that red that we had, just to add the hair details in there and a little bit of movement, because you know, if there's going to be something with hair, then I am so there to draw it. Didn't mean that to rhyme. And as well, I just wanted to add an additional dimension in there, and I thought the blue worked quite nicely. I'm not entirely sure if it complemented it or not, but it just added another layer of movement and tone in there, and I followed that up by continuing the details using dark tones with that BB pen that we had. Now, I had mixed feelings about the BB pen. I absolutely loved to draw and make these gestorial lines with it. I thought it was fantastic for that. However, I wasn't a fan of the ink itself. It felt to me like quite a thick ink. I don't know if it's an Indian ink in there. I probably need to look through the magazine and find out a few more details there, but I don't like how it layered and how streaky it was. I mean, obviously it's not designed for colouring in large areas, but again, when I was working on the hair, I just kept noticing them streaks, and you probably won't see on camera, but from the angle I was sitting at and having the studio lights pointing on it, I'd see streaks and it irked me. I don't know why, but it niggled at me a little bit. It was just something I didn't want on my art piece. That just might be me being a picky princess there. Apart from that though, it was quite joyful to draw with actually. I think that would be quite a nice material to perhaps do urban sketching with, or something you've got to just make a few lines and gestures with and want it to have an impact. I thought it was great for that. Now, the one pen I wasn't a massive fan of was the fluorescent orange one. I haven't got a problem with the colour of it. I didn't like it. It said it was opaque, but I had to go over it a couple of times just to get at least a not so streaky surface over the black which I'd put on, and maybe that goes back to the ink itself underneath the black ink mixing in with that pen, but I kind of expected better. I will give it though, it did activate quickly, and on lighter surfaces, yes, the colour itself was good, but it just wasn't as opaque as I thought it might be, and it said it would be, but hey ho. And don't get me wrong, I really shook that pen as well. I thought when it was coming out all streaky, I thought maybe all the ink and the paint inside it separated, so I gave it a good shake. No, it did not really improve the situation at all. So using the cinnamon colour, I thought it would be a good idea to just suggest skin tones there, and mainly the shadows of where the shadows would be, obviously. I just thought it would be nice to hint and not go too overboard, as this was starting to get a little bit on the busy side. I think if there'd have been a bit more variety of colours and tones, rather than having that fluorescent orange pen in there, I feel that I probably could have done a little bit more straight away with regards to this prompt anyway. Continuing on with my theme of having it colourless in the centre, these grey pens were perfect for the job. And of course, as we all know, you can layer up marker pens, well, alcohol marker pens, to create different levels of tone and depth, which is exactly what I did for the eyes and the nose. It was time to start adding the eyelashes, obviously, to the eyes, and as well the irises and the pupils, and just filling in those details, waiting for it to dry and then filling it in some more. I must admit though, looking at the picture, it just emphasised how thin that liner pen was and how I believe it wasn't a good match. So I end up going around it all again. I'm still not entirely pleased with the thickness of the line, but at least it was an improvement on what it was before, and it just made the areas stand out more where I'd put these details in. I mean, I'm going to put details in with a liner pen, I at least want them to be visible, right? I also took this opportunity to fill her eyelashes in a little bit more and give her heart-shaped pupils so she's making heart-shaped eyes at someone. I just thought that would be nice and in keeping. I also added a little heart necklace using that horrible orange pen. I've decided I really don't like that pen. I think I'm just going to use it to label things that I need the attention on. The important things. I don't know like what, but that's what I feel like this pen would be useful for. Also to note, it did not layer up very well with the other materials we had. It kind of rejected that black brush pen, and I don't know why it was in there. Can't we just have more marker pens next time? Anyway, we are done for this month's UpCrate. All in all, I quite liked the idea I had for this piece, and I quite like how it came out. It just would have been nice to have had a few more colours, seems as the theme had to do with colour. I don't know, just would a yellow would have been nice. A yellow would have been fab. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. There should be some more on screen I think you'll enjoy. Of course, thank you all so much for watching, and I do hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you soon. Bye!